Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that'll take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Barbara, a transformation coach, speaker, and author who empowers highly sensitive people, empaths, and intuitives to fully embrace their full, authentic selves. She helps her clients gain clarity, overcome overwhelm, and step confidently into their zone of genius, turning passion into a soulful, profitable life. Through her authentic superpower system and Soulpreneur success system, love that, Barbara guides individuals to align purpose, mindset, and action, creating lasting transformation and joy by embracing their uniqueness and creating a life that truly makes their hearts sing. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm not sure if that came up because it only picks up on the sound, but she did this most cutest heart, which was really beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How are you? How are you today? How's everything?
Oh, lots of movement, lots of things happening, lots of changes, lots of potential pitfalls to fall into. But I feel like I'm navigating it like I've never been able to navigate it before in a very positive way. So I'm
Beautiful.
feeling very proud of myself.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And often I find, because I know we had a little just catch up before we started the episode, I often find in order sometimes to really step into that role of a coach or a guide or whatever we want to call it, sometimes it's in the transformation and the unfolding and the unexpected that, you know what, we can be that other person that we can relate to and we can understand. So I think this is just life sometimes, isn't it? It's like a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And as much as possible, it'd be nice to coast, not too much. But it's the thrill of life, I guess. So with that in mind, there's so much that you do. And there's particular words in your bio that really stood out to me because I think, when we think of spirituality and like even just the term transformational coach, I noticed that you particularly pick, and I know you abbreviate it as well, highly sensitive people, and I think you do HSP, is that right?
Exactly.
I'd just love to know, like, what's the background behind that? Where did it come from? Where did that focus primarily come from?
Well, the short answer is because I discovered I am one. And like for most people, I think when you go into this space, it's based on your own experiences. But the slightly longer answer is that for most of my life, I was told, oh, don't take everything so serious. Don't take everything so personal. Oh, you really need to learn to grow a thicker skin. And there was a lot of trauma and abuse in my childhood, lots of bullying in school. And all of these things combined made me feel like there was something wrong with me, that I was broken, that I needed to be fixed. And that meant that I worked really hard to change myself into what I thought other people wanted me to be, because I also wanted my parents to love me, to have friends to hang out with. That you want to be a part of the system, to be a part of the group. That's how our society works. That is also how we are sort of trained. And when you're the odd one out, nobody really says, yay, you go, right?
Yeah.
So that is most of my younger years and also my early teens, 20s. And then around 30s, I ended up in a severe burnout. It's a combination of things, both personal and private, that brought me, and professional, I meant, that brought me to this burnout. And in that time, I discovered that I am a highly sensitive person myself. I had never heard of it before. I had no clue what it was. And then they told me about it, and I thought, oh my God, that's like you're able to see inside my head. And for the first time, I felt like, oh my, I'm not weird. I'm not
Mm.
strange. I'm a highly sensitive person. And that felt like I came home to myself. So I started learning everything about it. And I read fora, books, joined clubs, everything. And then I discovered that even in that group, I'm still the odd one out. I am highly sensitive, but I am also a form of highly sensitive person that only 2% of the highly sensitive persons are. So even in that group, I was the odd one out, and that sort of kept me going on my journey of getting to know myself. And in the end, I discovered that I'm just a very unique being. It led me on my path through many different healing modalities. I am versed in all of them. So I use all of the things that I tried on myself, also with my clients. But the things that really made the difference, really allowed me to not only get to know myself at a very deep level, to heal myself at a very deep level, and to have every single question I've ever had about myself, my life, my experiences, my business, was the combination of human design and the gene keys. They've
Mm.
quickly become the core of what I do with people. They're extremely powerful, and they helped me see that there's nothing wrong with me. And
Thank
they helped me,
you. Beautiful.
right?
Beautiful.
They
Yes,
helped me
yes.
discover my own user manual. They helped me discover who I actually am instead of what I thought I had to be or need to be.
Mm.
And they helped me to embrace every part of myself and to heal the parts that have been hurt by a variety of causes that's beyond the scope of today. And they gave me this inner peace that I've never had before.
Beautiful. Wow. First of all, there's so much that I feel like most people listening will probably be able to follow along to, and then some people will be like almost like I'm uh what was all of that? So first of all, thank you for really just owning your story and for being so transparent because okay, it's easier like on reflection and when we're a little older and we're a little more wiser, but it's still our journey, our story, and it's still, it's still us we're talking about. We're not talking about a character. So I really, really appreciate you really being so truthful and honest with that. And it's really interesting because as soon as you identified, well, not identified, but spoke about parts of your story, I just find it really ironic that it's almost so cleverly thought out in the sense of like of the person feeling like there's no one else like them. Like
Mhm.
how? Because I too was often like I was almost like a chameleon in the sense of like I could easily adapt myself
Mhm.
to go with whatever the main, energy or whatever it was. But I was very much, particularly at home, like, oh, don't be so sensitive, grow a thicker skin, all the similar comments to you. And honestly, I was placed in a family where I very quickly learned how to do that. And and it's not saying that I became something I'm not. Like, there's a reason I believe for every family we're placed in and the way
Mhm.
we are.
Sure.
But some others it isn't as easy as that, and that can be quite traumatic. And I know that there were times when it was quite traumatic, and I don't mean just family. I mean like, I was brought up on a army camp, which was very physically demanding, and like I had lots of things as a female that like I realized that this is not really behaviors that you should desire in a man because just different background things anyway. And I just find it very interesting that you not you but that often when we are highly sensitive, like how in the whole of a school, in the whole of a community, do we not see that there's other people until like what you say, you almost like start investigating, start, I don't know, find a community, meet someone else, or someone say you're similar to someone else. And it's just, I don't know, I just find it really
Well,
interesting that we just seem to be scattered around, you know?
because only 1 in 5 people is highly sensitive. So that means that
Ah,
four
there
out
we
of the
go.
5 people that you meet are not like you, are very, very different from you. And
Mm,
also, when you don't know yourself really well, it's also very difficult to recognize someone
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
And so those are the two things that play a part. So most people are just vastly different.
Mm,
The
mm.
other part is that even if you met a highly sensitive person, and when you haven't learned what it is and accepted yourself for who you are, you will not be open to recognizing them.
Yeah, and would you say, like I just you definitely being the perfect person to explain more, but for going back to my experience and then for you to add to that, because I feel like you've just got so many gems. I think it's a very inward experience. So even if you're
Mhm.
smiling and you look like you're coping well, there's a lot going on inside. Like even for me, whether you want to call it energy, you want to call it whatever, but I could really feel very strongly when someone was upset, someone was angry, someone was
Mhm.
all different things. And so when you've got that before even words are exchanged, but you walk into a room, and I just thought, because we don't know how other people are experiencing life, and I just was almost like, whoa, like, and then shocked that no one else seemed to be
Noticing
feeling
the
that.
same
and
thing.
and I and so there's so many layers to it, so you're not just having that conversation then. And even when then you're like, oh, are you okay? And generally some people don't want people to know that they're angry or upset. So then they kind of then almost come at you because they're like, well, how can you see what I'm trying to hide? And it's
Yeah, they become
it's the
defensive.
most bizarre thing, because then it was like, I don't know about you, but you go back to like, oh, and because it almost gets pushed back on you of like, there's something wrong, like you don't know me, da 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 da, and it's like, but you feel something, and then you get the response that you felt originally, but then it's like all of a sudden it's almost like you created the situation in the room, and it's like, what just
Yeah.
happened? I'm so confused. And even numerous times, like I remember even an ex-boyfriend being like to me, this is not how you behave at a party, because people wanted to tell me their stories and got very emotional and felt safe with me. What are you doing? This is not how you behave at a party. And I'm just like, whoa, whoa, like, how is this
Brilliant.
all my fault? So,
That's
yeah, I would love, first of all, for you to just share some of your knowledge about what actually, and I know it's not a one size fits all, but generally what the characteristics or the feelings or the thoughts are of a highly sensitive person.
Well, first off, what you just described is the situation that almost every single highly sensitive person experiences in their life at one point or multiple points at a
Mm,
time.
a whole life. And
Yes,
imagine
exactly.
as a child, you're really like, okay, what is happening?
So if I speak for myself, I was very honest and very open. And for some reason, I just thought that everybody was more or less the same. And that everybody around me was having more or less the same norms, the same values,
Mm,
experiencing roughly the same things. I didn't think that there was a lot of difference in there. Sure, you have male, female, and you have rich and poor. So not everybody is exactly the same. But I thought, the basics work generally the same. And that is not true. So things that were very normal to me, other people didn't understand at all.
mm,
And things that other people thought were very normal, I thought, how can you treat someone that way? How can you treat me this way? How can you say that to me? Or why don't you see this? Feelings like that. And lots of highly sensitive people have the same thing because the way our brain work and the way we operate is just very different. So, what is important to note here is that about 70% of highly sensitive people are introverted. So, everything goes inside,
mm,
internal.
mm.
And you said it's almost like an internal thing. Well, for a lot of people, that is. True.
Yeah.
The other people, the other 30% are called extroverted, but I call them extroverted introvert because on the big spectrum of
I feel like
introversion,
that was
you
me.
still have introversion. And I am a more extroverted introvert, so that means I can go to parties, I love
Yeah.
going dancing, I can speak on stages, I can give
Yeah.
presentations, and which a true introvert cannot do. That would like no. But there were also moments where I think I cannot people today. Just go
Yeah.
away. I
Yeah.
don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. And I just
Mm.
retreat or I want to go into nature, which fits the true introvert a lot better than the extrovert because they just bloom up when they're around people and crave
Mm.
being around other people all of the time. And
Yeah.
so that is a short intro into introverted, extroverted, and how I think most of us are actually full introvert or an extroverted introvert, or sometimes called an ambivert. You can slide a bit on the introversion extroversion scale. And that makes it so that the highly sensitive people, our primary goal is to have everybody be happy, to have
People
everybody
pleasing.
feel good.
Yes.
Not just people pleasing, but more also just a genuine caring for people. And
Mm.
I am at my happiest when everybody I love is also feeling happy and is having a good time.
But I mean, sorry but I mean like maybe now your awareness is different, but I think to start with, maybe I feel is because I felt so much and I wanted to change how the feeling was because I didn't feel comfortable, is that's how maybe I did people please and I had to learn not to do that because
Yeah.
I just wanted like I was like, but I'm confused. Everyone's smiling, but it doesn't feel like a happy room. Like,
Yes, but there are different types of people pleasing. And so there are people pleasing that everybody knows because you want people to like you, but it's also because you don't want people to be hurt. People are
mm.
sad, you want to cheer them up. This is also a form of people pleasing, but they have different starting points. Let's call them starting points.
Mm.
Yes, that is one of the pitfalls that we have because we want everybody to feel good and we try to make it good for everybody. That can translate into healthy or unhealthy people pleasing.
Mm.
And the other 80%, they think about themselves primarily. They don't think about how things come across or if I might hurt you in the process or if I'm inconveniencing you.
Yeah.
No, as long as it's better for me, then I have no other thoughts. And when the thing that's most convenient for me, the thing that helps me the best, that's what most other people do. And that keeps hurting us because
Yeah.
we are not like that. If I have an appointment with you and we are going to go dancing and drinking on Friday, and you've expressed that you're looking forward to it, and I've also expressed that I'm looking forward to it, when I then don't feel well on a Friday and I haven't worked on myself, then I
Mm.
will not tell you that I am actually too tired to come. And I will push myself to go because I don't want to disappoint you, which is unhealthy
Mm.
people pleasing. And that's what I see with a lot of highly sensitive people who haven't worked on themselves. They've pushed themselves to be social, to go out, to keep their word, because honesty and keeping your word are also two things that are very important for the highly sensitive person. While most other
Mm.
people just promise anything you want to hear and don't pay any attention if they also deliver on the things that they're promising. Which is another thing
Yeah.
that hurts us. So there are structural differences between how we operate and what we find important and how we treat other people, as opposed to the 80% and how they operate and treat other people. And
Mm.
when we don't understand this dynamic, then we measure those other 80% of people with our yardstick, the way
Yeah.
we would treat someone and the way we would expect to be treated in return. And when we are always kind to someone else and we then need help, for instance, we expect that we can get that help because we've helped them so much
Oh,
already. And then
yeah.
help is not coming. And not only help is not coming, they're usually rude or short, or they block you, or they think you're a nuisance, which then further damages you in your kindness, in your wanting
Mm.
to be there for other people. And that is a big disappointment. It can keep end in trauma or deep scars, depending how
Yeah.
bad everything is. But that is how highly sensitive people get hurt easily, by the almost callousness of the other 80% that just think of their own convenience.
Do you know you brought up so much and Yeah, I really wasn't expecting all of this to come out. And when I'm smiling and laughing, by the way, this is absolutely 100% not being insensitive. It's almost like I can't, it's almost like you're speaking about something so similar and raw to me. And I think I know you've gone a long way to get to where you've got now, but I think it's incredible that now you are that person that has took so much time to
Mhm.
really work this out, because going to your soul, I know it's soulpreneur, but obviously I see it as almost soul on your own as well, of sometimes of like I had to figure all this out myself, and it's almost like I had to constantly go here to come back here, to go here to come back here, and to go here, and so many like, relationships damaged, so many like heartbreak, so much this, and I 100% am not doing this, because when you say about the 80%, this is not us and them or this and that. Everyone is functioning the way that they're functioning, and like what you said, because it's such a small percentage and we are too sensitive, we are too this, we are too that, it can make sense how it's so damaging, but also people are just kind of running a program that they feel inside, they're just being true to them. So it's not like anyone's right or anyone's wrong, but we have to be respectful. And going back to what you say, like I couldn't like pretend and say the real true reason why well, first of all, someone wouldn't understand it. So yeah, I used to get up and go out, and then I felt like then, because of the energy, I just couldn't handle it. But knowing that I should have been at home, whereas now, and I'm sure this is something that you teach your clients, which will be incredible, is to take back that ownership and that power. Because for example, like even yesterday, there was a huge, massive event happening here, and like on the grand scale of things, like it's something you shouldn't miss out on. Like, like this is a one-off opportunity, and it's free, and it's in walking distance. Like, what a blessing to be where I am right now. But I knew myself that it was just one, I would either just be really trying to put in extra effort to enjoy it, or it just was one of those days where I had to pour into me. I couldn't be around other people, and that's not anything to do with them, it's something internal.
Yes.
But it took me a long time to get to that point, because there would be so much guilt, so much shame of like, well, everyone else can just get up and get on with it, and people be like, what do you mean, just have a nap or just do this? But it's so much more than that. It's something you can't describe. It's just something within you that's just like it. I don't know, everything just feels like it's got a big resistance. Would you say that? And it's
That's why I
tricky
say you
to
need to get to
change
know
it.
your own user manual. You need to
Mm-mm.
understand how the world works for you and how your own energy works and how you can translate, because it's up to us, unfortunately, how you can translate either the outside world to you or what you want to the outside world.
Yeah.
Have a harmonious connection, because if that doesn't happen, then there's always a mismatch, and that will always cause pressure and
Mm.
unhappiness, mostly on our side, because the other 80% never sees anything
Yeah.
with anything.
They're just enjoying. They're all in like, I feel like cattle, like taking pictures, like all, and I'm just like, this is too much for me right now. Whereas on a day where I am so full, and not full of herself, but I just feel so empowered, so really just wanting to pour out to everyone, it wouldn't have bothered me. I will dance, I will enjoy, and so then from another perspective, which I've had then people that have been very close to me being like not understanding me, because how can you be like that and then be like that? But it's like,
Mhm.
and so then I used to have that battle of like, what's wrong with me? When no, this is just me. You know what? Today is a no day. Like, okay, I could have gone and I could have just saw if I liked it, but I know if I bumped into someone, then it would have been harder to just come, see if I like it and decide. So, because I'm a very sociable person. So then people can't understand that.
Always been very bad at tests, because then you need to do a test that asks, for instance, you are going to a networking event. Are you A, the person that hands out as many business cards as possible?
Mm.
The person that stands in the corner and only looks at the event from a safe distance. C, the person that talks to everybody. Or D, the person that only talks to people that you know. And then I think,
Mm.
well, that depends on if I am in my period, yes or no, depends on what the moon is
Yes.
standing, if Mercury is in retrograde, how well I've slept, how much stress I have, if a major event has
Yeah.
just happened. And it can be all of them depending on how I'm feeling in a specific moment. So that never really fits into a test.
Same. As soon as you said that, I was like, well, I'm a combination of all, depending on how I feel.
Yeah.
Like even when I speak at speaking events, it's a blessing. But I think even maybe how this was birthed, but like I generally just will know what to say on the day, and because I feel the room, and I feel like what I feel like someone needs to hear or know. Obviously, I have my say if my focus is the power of words or something, but for me, the idea of planning something and then going with it when I just feel like, no, this is not the right thing to run with right now. But then to someone else, that would be absolutely like, they would not be able to handle that. So then they're like, but how could you get up on a stage, do that? But then there's times where you don't want to be around people. And that's how it's just being like, this is me. This is just me. You don't have to understand it. I don't have to explain it, but this is me, and I'm just gonna have to honor me in this moment. Whereas I think it takes a lot to get to that point. So hopefully, by you, if someone's listening now, really don't worry about what age you are. Contact this incredible woman because she will change. And she'll talk about her gene keys and her human design. But all this came to me much later in life, like closer to my 40s, And it's like you can get these gems, even just a little snippet, and you don't need to have a blueprint. There isn't a blueprint, and that's the ironic thing, but just someone that can relate to you and understand you. And it's completely changed my life, completely.
Yes. As it's the way you're designed to operate, the way your energy is designed to work, the way you're designed to make decisions, the way you're designed to respond to life. There are lots of elements that are at play in this, and that's why I'm on the one hand I'm a fan of Myers-Briggs, and on the other hand I am absolutely not, because every time I take this test, I'm something different. I've been an ENFJ and an INFJ and an ENTP and an INTP, and for people who know what a Myers-Briggs is, those are complete different things. So I never understood how that could be, but it depends on what my energy is when I take the test, how
Yeah.
I'm feeling. And that's the chameleon that you were also talking about. And it wasn't until I discovered my human design and my gene keys that I finally understood all of these aspects for myself, and that is just how I operate. It's how I
Yeah.
function, it's how my energy rolls. And the benefit of knowing these things about yourself is that you can accept yourself a lot better. You
Mm-hmm.
stop feeling the need to change yourself or to explain yourself to other people. And it gives that inner peace and that sense of freedom that I've always been looking for.
Beautiful. I feel like with the I actually just want to add one little thing first, because I think this will I don't know, just I think you will understand even more. Um but with the human design and the gene keys, I feel like that's something that people should reach out and want to know more about, because obviously it's quite a big thing. But just to give you an idea, just because of what we touched on with the 20%, and there isn't a like, I don't know how I'll be in 1 hour, 1 minute, Um, but just to add to that, I don't know about my gene keys, but my human design is 8%. So imagine that as well added on the top of an emotional manifester. So
Mhm.
first of all, now I realize I don't want to have the labels and stuff, but I think it's important, for
Don't
us
see them
to.
as labels. I see them as pieces of the puzzle that
Yes,
make up you.
beautiful. Yeah, I love that. I love that. But 100% I relate to all that you're saying. It all makes complete sense. And although I have, I'm sure, like you, gone on such a journey to almost come back to myself and just be like, this is me. If you don't like it, not in a thingy way, just this is me on this day. This is how I'm feeling, and I have to honor it. And yes, we have little slip ups. But when I found out again, like the human design after that, I was like, well, no wonder I had no idea what's going on in my life.
Yes. It explains so much.
Yeah. And the
Also,
emotional one as well. So like,
the emotional one
yeah.
and the profile. The profile
Oh,
also explains a lot.
yes, yes, yes. And like as people see, I am so, and I'm sure you are too, but so vibrant, so full of energy, and I generally am. So then when I like what I say almost like yesterday, it's not saying I was a completely different person, but I just really, and I never understood this because I never used to have the self-love, is
Mhm.
I literally just knew I wanted to go to the quietest spot on the beach. I wanted to just look at the waves. I wanted the sun just to radiate on me. And I just wanted to almost like hug myself and just pour into myself. And so
Mhm.
then when people see, this larger than life, whatever, they don't get it, but they don't need to get it.
No.
But this was one of my biggest battles was people felt that because I didn't know me. So then I felt I was inauthentic because I didn't know who I was. Whereas it's a journey. I'm discovering
I
more and more
recognize
of
what
me
you're
and you're,
saying. I can
yeah.
also be the life of the party and joke with the best
Yes.
of them and be we very present.
Yeah.
I'm in my
Yeah.
right energy, and when everything's flowing and I will feel fantastic, then you cannot go around me. I'm really in energy, and then the next day I could just be chilling in my
Yeah.
pajamas and have the bell off, the phone off, and I don't want to talk to anybody. And
Yeah.
all of these parts are part of me.
Absolutely. Like people find it really bizarre that I just go out and I don't take my phone. What do you mean in this day now you don't? I'm like, no, I need, but to get to this point, and it probably was not even a year ago. Like, just think for most of my life, just functioning at the way that I just felt like I had to. And so it's so liberating
Oh
of
yeah.
no, I don't want my phone today. And and it's really not going to be that big of an issue, like I just want to pour into me, and
People are
it's
very
super
annoyed because they keep
important.
wanting to call me, and calling me is by appointment. You can text me, you can WhatsApp me, all of that is perfectly fine, but calling, no, that's by appointment. So my phone is almost always on silent, because then I decide when I want to look at it, and it's not ruling my life. No, whenever I feel like, oh yeah, let's see if I missed someone, then that's
Mm.
perfectly fine. But there's one day in the week that's my day. I don't plan anything on that day. I am not reachable by phone. I don't even have my phone anywhere near me. And that is my unplugged day. And I had to learn the hard way that that is something I need.
Same. And I think even in this, if someone even takes from this, like it's almost like, oh, people do that because
Am I
I,
allowed to do that?
yeah, like
Yes,
I,
you
I
are.
felt it felt weird saying the word permission, but sometimes it's like this, and we can't see it
Yeah.
until we're ready to hear, or and I think this is why I love this so much. We are having a conversation, but I know that so many, for certain people, they're all going to have a completely different experience of what's just unfolded here. And even in that of, oh, do you know what? Maybe even, and we're not saying a whole day, maybe just 1 hour when you go for the walk, leave your phone at home. You don't have to. But for
Yeah.
me, I just felt like, and it's not I have no control over myself, but I just felt like taking it. I would, even if I put on frequency music, so I'm like, you're still stimulating yourself, Shelley.
Yes.
Leave it. Be here in the present moment and connect.
Yes.
And that's what it was for me, is because I noticed that even though it was healthy mechanisms, I was still connected in some sort of way. And it was like, no, I want this time for me.
Yes.
I think it's super important. Wow. Oh my gosh. It's been such a pleasure. I know there's so much more that we could still speak about. Of course, if there's anything that you really want to share before you go, please share. But other than that, the last thing that I always ask my guests is just off the top of their head, there was something that someone listening right now would really benefit from hearing. What would you tell them?
You are enough. That is the short answer. The slightly longer answer is that everybody that's watching, that's listening, that's resonating on some level, be brave enough to just explore it. You don't have to make decisions, you don't have to do anything, but just explore what you're feeling and explore yourself. I like to call it getting to know your user manual, because the better you understand yourself, the better you understand how you work, how you function, how you
Mm.
relate to things, how you get over things, all of these things, the easier it becomes to become the leader of your life instead of the one being led.
Oof. Yes. Wow, that was really powerful. And I just wanted to add just a little bit more. I don't know why I just feel like mentioning this, but with the phone thing or anything new you try, there is a transition period. You're not going to straight away, of course, not feel that inner peace. You're going to naturally, this is something, particularly the phone, which we know is heavily part of people's hands nowadays and ears,
Yes.
and you are naturally going to feel maybe that feeling of like, what if, what if, what if? Sit with it. Sit with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some of my best times are when I just go out, and sometimes I go out a whole day. I love it. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Absolute blessing, and I'm so happy we connected. And yeah, really, really, really fantastic. Thank you.
Me too. And thank you as well, and you're welcome.